Executive Directors Eric, Executive Director Mayet, Directors Annabelle, Director Mel, Director Mulong, Director Franz, Director Bob, the Deputy Val, and I also saw kanina si Deputy Director Carlos, okay, officials of the DOST, and my co-workers at DOST. Pag sinabi kong co-workers, kasama na ngayon ang mga S&T Fellows natin. Of course, representatives from higher education institutes and state universities and colleges, mga balik scientists, mga graduate scholars, our partners in media, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, magandang umaga po at magandang agham sa ating lahat. First, I would like to welcome you all to the first S&T Fellows Convention with the theme, Undertaking R&D Initiatives, Creating Ripples for Change. Before we hear the current undertakings of our S&T Fellows, allow me to take you back on how we started the S&T Fellows program. The onset of COVID-19 has heightened the roles of experts in science, technology, and innovation, or STI. COVID-19 showed us that we really need S&T Fellows. But even before the advent of the global health pandemic, the leaders of our nation are already using STI as inputs to decision-making. The DOST was challenged by President Duterte to double the human resources amidst the country's fight against COVID-19. In response, we are hiring more researchers, scientists, and engineers, or RSEs. The reason for this is very simple. You know, in 2016, Dr. Bio and I, we wrote what we call the master plan for S&T Human Resource Development. Nag-present kami sa DBM, sabi namin, you know, if you continue funding us the way that you are funding us, we will reach 380 researchers, scientists, and engineers per million population by 2045. Sabi ng DBM, ano ba kailangan ninyo? So we gave her the list of things that we needed for S&T Human Resource. And you know, today, the budget of human resource development, which is basically the scholarship programs, is 25% of the department's budget. So in the Philippine Development Plan, 2016 to 2022, nakasulat doon na dapat by 2022, we should have 300 researchers per million Filipinos. I'm very happy to report we achieved 356 in 2018. Kasama na dyan yung ASTHRDP, ERDT, at saka yung scholarship programs natin sa undergrad at saka dun sa Masters and PhD for Science Education. Ang problema natin, yung pag-hire ng mga tao, hindi ganun kalakas. In fact, it took some time for industry and even the higher education institutes to start hiring the graduates of MS and PhD. Just to explain, in 2007, the total graduates of DOST MS scholarship was 17. In the last 6 years, we have been producing 400 to 500 MS and PhD graduates per year. Problem is, where do we put them? So we had a bridge program called the CIP. Yung mga CIPs, these are scholars for MS and PhDs that were hired by DOST. But I'm happy to report na hindi na kami halos nag-hire ng ganong kadaming CIPs because the industry is beginning to absorb our CIPs. So pagka-graduate ng MS at PhD, na-hire naman na sila. The problem is, we need also leaders. We need veteran researchers. So, with the challenge of the President, DOST had already put in place 2 strategic programs. We have the Balik Scientist Program to address brain drain in the national level. And then we have the Research and Development Leadership, or RD Lead, pinangungunahan ni Dr. Mayet Sumagaysay, to address the lack of local experts that would strengthen research capabilities of academic institutions, R&D centers, and even national government agencies in the region. The DOST also continues to support aspiring RSEs through various scholarship programs implemented by the DOST Science Education Institute. Now, recognizing the bigger risks facing humanity in the years to come, we at DOST deemed it necessary to put in place some strategic mechanisms that would ensure a stable, sustainable supply of RSEs, or researchers, scientists, and engineers in the country, including within the DOST R&D group. It is in this context that the project DOST Science and Technology Fellows Program was proposed. The program aims to populate DOST R&D group with master's and PhD degree holders with limited tenure of 5 years, to be exact. These new personnel are referred to as S&T Fellows. Patayin natin ang S&T Fellows natin. Please stand up. Thank you very much. This initiative is not new in countries that aim for technological advancement and leadership. For example, at the state level in the US, the American Association for the Advancement of Science in Washington, D.C. launched the S&T Policy Fellowships, or STPF program, to provide opportunities to outstanding scientists and engineers to learn firsthand about policy making and contribute their knowledge and analytical skills in the policy making. The SFTP program allowed RSEs to work for the U.S. government for a 1-year tenure. Such efforts are likewise being adopted by the National Science and Technology Development Agency, or NASDA, of Thailand. In Thailand, you have the Ministry of Science and Technology with about 400 employees, but you have the NASDA, the National Science and Technology Development Agency, with about 5,000 people. Puro researchers sila. And they have 5-year tenure, similar to the S&T Fellows. Ibig sabihin, kailangan magpakitang gilas para after 5 years, they are retained. In the end, the S&T Fellows, we imagine, would be adopted not just by DOST, but by other government agencies. So for example, Undersecretary Leo of Department of Agriculture has already asked me for a copy of our guidelines. Kokopyahin nila sa Department of Agriculture yung S&T Fellows. So where can we get these S&T Fellows? I've already mentioned about our scholarships, and we have 53,000 scholars in all fields of science and engineering and science education, with over 10,000 MS and PhD scholars. We hope to capture these scholars in our search for S&T Fellows, as well as brilliant S&T talents from all across the globe. So may I request the S&T Fellows who used to work outside of the country to please stand up. Okay. Thank you very much. Ibig sabihin, we are now able to have brain gain. Hindi, kasi yung balik scientist, 3 years ang maximum eh. Pero ang S&T Fellows, 5 years. Saka diretso talaga sa DOST. Now, where do our S&T Fellows go? We have a total of 32 S&T Fellows with us today whose service are engaged by the different DOST agencies. 17 of the 32 S&T Fellows report to the DOST R&D Institutes. Good morning, Sec Boy. Which include ASTI, FNRI, FPRDI, MIRDC, ITDI, PNRI, and PTRI to undertake R&D in various areas of specialization. The remaining S&T Fellows report to the DOST Councils, PICARD, PCHRD, and PSHEARD. These S&T Fellows direct specific agenda from conceptualization of R&D programs, policy development, impact assessment of DOST programs and projects, among others. Overall, the S&T Fellows program provides opportunity to our researchers, scientists, and engineers to do meaningful work in the country while enjoying very good compensation. How good is this compensation I am referring to? For master's degree holders with all the qualifications we're looking for, we offer S&T Fellow 1 and S&T Fellow 2 positions with salary grades of 23 and 24. This is around, I will not say the words, I will not say the numbers, but you can figure this out. For doctorate degree holders, we offer S&T Fellow 3, 4, and 5 positions with salary grades 25, 26, and 27. In case our S&T Fellows do not know, the salary grade of a DOST director is salary grade 27, which is an S&T Fellow 5. Before I end my presentation, allow me to take this opportunity to thank the S&T Fellows who willingly accepted the challenge and became part of the growing family at DOST. Some of you had to make sacrifices, giving up promising careers and brighter future abroad. Some of you chose to come back after they graduate and postgraduate studies abroad, while others have regular positions in academia and industry. Still, you chose to serve the country. The work that you do is more than just R&D outputs and outcomes. You may not yet realize it, but when you are allotting long hours to conceptualizing roadmaps inside your laboratories, testing samples, and making experiments, believe me, your work will benefit hundreds and millions of Filipinos. Seeing all of you today makes my heart swell with pride and joy. I'm sure that the work that Secboy and I started in DOST will create ripples of change for the good of the Philippines. With this, I thank you all for being here today and magandang agham po sa ating lahat.